Hi, this is Attila16 and this is a video of Wargame Red Dragon, and this is a tour of the Finland deck. Uh, this is a preview version from Eugen that they gave me and prior to the race. So everything you see in there might be subject to change. Nonetheless, I will present you all the units and my thought on all of them. I might not show you gameplay of it because I haven't had much time lately. But at least you'll know what kind of unit you're getting if you get those DLCs. So let's start by logistic, which is important. So what's interesting about Finland is that they are a bit of a mix of hardware from different nations or manufacturer. So we'll see here. So this is what is this? This is a command vehicle, which is a BTR 50YV1. So a bit slow, but I guess fine command vehicle. Does the job. Here you have a BMP 1K Copa. I guess fairly standard. Here you have a Gaz 69 Copa, and fine speed, I guess, off road. But nothing that special about it. And this is an XA 180 Copa. That's interesting. Good speed off-road here. Bit expensive though. You have your standard command infantry with different type of transport. So BTR 60, PB, XA 180. What's that? Oh, that's an interesting unit. An XA 185 KT. This thing has a Bushmaster autocannon, so that can be an interesting transport. Here you have a BTR 50, costs 5 points, so not much, but kind of slow. Here you have transport an MI 8P. So not sure. And here you have a Super Puma, which is a bit faster. Probably a better idea for the same price. But it's slightly a bit weaker. Strength 8. Yeah, so essentially an MI8 might have a better chance of surviving, while the other one might get you somewhere faster. And here you have an MI4 as a command vehicle. You have a T-55A Copa command vehicle, command tank, I mean. T-72 Copa command tank. And an FOB. So, fairly standard. Here in my deck, what I decided to go with is the XA-180 Copa command vehicle. Probably a good idea if you have a good team with you. If you don't, perhaps having more availability might be a better idea with the gas. But this is very dependent on the context. In terms of, I haven't covered the supply stuff. So here you have MI8PKP1 or E, I'm not sure. So it's good to have choppers here for supplies. Here you have Terra 865BMKP1. So it's a bit slow off-road. Carries very little supply, but I guess it's interesting to have it. They're not that expensive. But I think I will be more interested by this one, an SA 150KP1. But overall, I think my impression of the supply Finland has, it's a bit limited in terms of transport efficiency. But pretty sure they'll be fine nonetheless. So let's let's look at the anti-air capacity here. So what's interesting is that these guys are really inexpensive, 5 points. They have a rifle, which make them pretty bad in combat, but that's the case for all anti-air. They have a Strela 2M, fire and forget, range 2.1 kilometer, 30% accuracy. So it's not a great unit, but it's very inexpensive, so why not? And of course you can bring them with different transport. So you can ultimately bring them just for the transport sometime. You have a different type here. The most interesting one, of course, are these, and the XA 185 KT. That's an interesting one because of the autocannon. Then you have the BMP 1, which is interesting as well. Then you have a BMP 2. That's another cannon, I believe. Or is it? Yeah, I think it is. Yep, seem to be. That can be good as well. And an Mi-8P. So that's pretty much the different transport you'll get with the different infantry. So this is a very inexpensive unit, and up to a certain point it has anti-air capacity, but you might end up bringing them just to bring their transport, which some of them might be interesting. Now here you have a bit of a better anti-air unit, more range, 2.4 kilometer. That's already better. They cost much more though, 20 instead of 5, for a difference of 300 meter, and of course some accuracy. And they have the same weapon, but already a bit better. You have the same transport. So yeah, interesting. Here you have the oh boy, I'm not sure how to say that. The Yakari, I think. It's true that Finland has a different language in terms of structure, so I cannot really relate to any language I know. But yeah, interesting unit. I guess that's your main infantry. They're okay at everything, but not that amazing at anything. They have static MG, some guns. Of course, they have their transport as well, which are pretty standard. It's like all units have that. Here you have a bit of a better version, or is it? Actually, if you compare, yeah, that here the law anti-tank has a bit more punch, but still, I will say still weak. And they're actually not. They cost the same. What's the difference other than that? So these two units actually cost the same amount, and these one are a bit stronger. So I'm not sure if that will remain that way. I doubt it. But it's likely that this unit will end up costing 15. At least that's my expectation. Otherwise, take this one if they remain the same. As I said, this is still work in progress. The DLC are not out yet. Now here you have what is this? Kartin Yakari. So do I mechanize in? Well, it must be mechanized infantry, I suppose. Now what's interesting is that they seem to have a specific transport here, which has a recoilless rifle, which is actually good. Look at it, 16 AP power and 2 H power. So interesting transport vehicle here. As for the infantry loadout, they are good at CQB, and they have the best type of LAW anti-tank. So interesting unit here. Also, if you look at them, they seem to have an armor or something. And they walk at 30 kilometers an hour. Well, the other one, 20, and these 50. So actually a rather mobile one. And here they have a different transport. This one has grenade launcher, so interesting. And choppers. So actually having two of these units with different transport can be an interesting combo, because grenade launcher can be good in some situation, and the other one is actually good anti-tank. All right, so Nostovaki. That's specialized on Tight Tank Infantry, 2 AP power, range of 1.2, and HP power of 1. What's interesting about that unit is that it's an okay range, and they can fire both on infantry and vehicle, but they don't kill particularly fast. It's just that they are able to suppress enemy tanks, so that can be interesting. Of course, one thing that you should notice here is that it's kinetic, so that's really important because as the enemy get closer, that gun will become stronger. So even though you have 2 AP here, by the time the enemy, it's 2 AP for that range. But if they get closer than that, then your AP increase probably. And rate of fire is 19 rounds a minute. So that's pretty good. Well, I think it's good. Time will tell. So these Pansari Jakari. So this is what kind of unit is this? So they have no K anti-tank. They are good in CQB. So it's a good unit for town, I suppose. Bit short range in terms of anti-tank. Do you have anything special in terms of transport? Not that much. I guess BMP. BMP 1 can be good. And BMP 2 as well. Yeah. And they cost 20. So it's okay. Pansari Jarkari. Jarkari. Yeah. Well, sound better to me. So this one is a bit of a stronger regular infantry, let's say. Good in CQB. Very good on Tight Tank here. 23 AP power, range of 700 meter. Rate of fire 20, so that's really good. They are shock troops. So this is probably your good troops for CQB. Now when it comes to ATGM units, the PSTOHG82M Conquer. So 20 AP, that's a good weapon. And what kind of transport do they use? Pretty standard here as well. You have same as the others. Here you have a Spike MR anti-tank. So that's a really strong weapon. Look at it. It's 65% accuracy, 21 AP power. It's guided, which means you need to stand still. It's not uncommon. Heat rounds. Well, heat rounds, yeah. Prototype. So that's a very powerful anti-tank unit here. Same transport as the other. It's like, why not? While here you have the Raniko Jakari. So that's their special units. You have 2 versions of it. So you have the version with the Raika anti-tank, so 18 AP power here. CQB capacity here, and the rest is okay, and special force, so elite. And that's okay. And you have the 90 version, sorry, with 23 AP power, so that's really powerful once again. Good unit. Here you have another type of anti-tank, but this time you have Musti, which has a fairly good range. Accuracy 40%, AP power 16, HE power 2. So interesting unit here, and from what I experience, this unit it's doing a good job. Same with the previous one, but this one is probably better. So that's it for the infantry. Let's move into support. Now here they have this unit with the very big missiles, only 2 of them though. Really well, acceptable accuracy, very good range, radar guided, I guess very mobile. That's interesting. Then you have the ITO 96, radar guided, good range, good accuracy, very powerful, a bit slower, but that's like a buck. Then you have the ITO 86, which has no radar and it's Heat Seeker, fairly good range against chopper. Then you have the ITO 90, which is radar guided. That's a bit sad, but this unit is really good in terms of stats and from my experience. 60% accuracy, that's really good. Very good range against choppers, acceptable range against plane. But it's really the main interest here is really your capacity to shoot down choppers at 3.3 kilometer. That's very far, and also you have 8 missiles, so that's really good. And speed allows you to get in and get out to ambush choppers, so that's a very useful unit. Must have. The only issue with it is radar. Here, that's a unit that I think is also interesting. There's no radar. 2.8 kilometer for against chopper. You don't buy that to deal with plane though. This is a unit which is actually really practical. I like it. I didn't put it in my deck this time, but when you despair, that might be a good unit to have. Also, they suppress very well the infantry. And they keep the choppers away for a very cheap price. So here you have the ITPSV Marksman. So fairly standard anti-air. It's like a Centurion anti-air, a marksman. Good unit overall, 60% accuracy, good stuff. 2.8 kilometer and 2.6 kilometer for anti-air plane. Yeah, that's the one. So really good unit. Recommended, but it's not as good, I will say, as the other ones. That ITO 90 is still my favorite. In terms of artillery, here you have the PSH 74, fairly standard unit. Tilak 91, guess it's an okay unit. The Rack 76, that fires cluster, so that can be interesting actually. I suppose it's similar to the Chinese artillery, well, MLRS, I think. Then here you have the Rack 89. What's interesting about these one? Napalm, so that fire napalms. If you're a fan of napalms. And this one is the Rack 91, fires, I guess, standard round. Here you have a Sergei. That's actually an interesting one. Actually, not that one. It's okay against chopper, 2.4 kilometer. But and I guess it's a bit still the spore size medium, but you can spread many of them around if you feel like it. What I find a bit more interesting is this one. That's the Sergei Mud, and this one has 2.6 kilometer for anti-chopper. So this is a unit which is not super expensive, and yet it has a good range and no radar, so useful in some case. Here you have the Tilak 84, so that's probably their good piece of artillery here if you like that. Cheap power of 7, dispersion is okay. Well, here you have the Tilak RH 66. It's like a mortar. And yeah, you can. This is a prototype. I guess it's pretty accurate. Good HE power. That might be an interesting unit to have. The HE power is really strong. Yeah, when you look at this one, this is a big unit. Costs a lot, and that's 7. Well, this is a mortar, and it costs us, well, it costs 60, and it has 6 HE, so that's pretty interesting. Here you have another mortar. This one seems a bit, well, not a bit, but much weaker. But I guess it's kind of mobile, is it? No, it's not that mobile. Another type of mortar here, so they are pretty well equipped in terms of support, I will say. I guess they have less anti-air than the Yugoslavian army, but their units are kind of strong against chopper. A bit weaker against plane, I would say. And in terms of artillery, they have a good diversity. So you have all type, and actually you have many type. They really like artillery in that country. Okay, so when it comes to tank, they have a derivative of T-72. So this one is a T-72 M1 mod. Well, I'm starting here. Very good unit, really strong front armor, and 23 AP power, that's really powerful. 70% accuracy, that's really good, and range is good as well. Same here, accuracy is the same, a bit weaker in armor. So this is the T-72 M1P AIV, and what's interesting here is that these two tanks have the same firepower. The main difference is simply the armor. So this one is super well armored, while this one isn't. So that's interesting difference. Here you have a T-72M1, so fairly standard for the pact. And here you have a T-55M Matty. 70% accuracy, that's good. 17 AP power, that's good as well. Well, here you have T-55A, kind of bad at everything, I will say, but cheap. And here you have a charioteer, which seem directly to be coming out from World War II. So very inexpensive. I guess this is the equivalent of a T-34 in terms of price, and I suppose the stats are similar. I haven't checked. T-35, not T-34, sorry. So in terms of tank, they are a bit limited. So if you're a big tank player, they have good tank, but they don't have many of them. Recon, on the other hand, they seem to have a lot. So Alouette 2, very good recon. Speed is okay, a bit slow. This one, the Jet Ranger, faster, exceptional optics, so that's a good one. BMP-1 TGG, good missile, I guess. 2.6 kilometer range, that's good. 45% accuracy, AP power 20. You have a gun on top, so fine recon there. Well, here you have a kind of a BMP with turret for Bushmaster 2. So interesting, 4 AP power. It's prototype. So interesting vehicle there. Now that's the Eric Koisrajakari. So this is an interesting unit. Especially since here they have a machine gun and I don't see that here. But what's interesting about this one is that they have anti-tank. Yes, powerful one. And they also have an Igla N. So this is a recon unit. I guess similar to SAS, but they seem to be stronger. And you can carry them in pretty much the same transport as other infantry. Here you have a Gaz 69, very good optics, so that's okay. Now here you have the ATV, the Monkija. Yeah. So interesting, very small. I guess it's very good at dodging missile. I learned that from movie. Well, here PT 76B tied the PSV. Okay. That's a recon unit. Pretty bad at fighting, but I guess okay for it's good optic. but to be honest, I will not use that thing. Although it is amphibious, so if you have a river to cross, that might be the right recon to use. Well, here you have T55M Pion PSV. 70% accuracy, 17 AP power. That's good. Very good optic. So interesting unit here. It's powerful enough to kill stuff, and yet it's a recon. And here you have the sniper unit. Actually, they are pretty numerous in number. Strength of 10. Okay in terms of anti-tank, but not amazing. Well, here they have a pretty good sniper, but it doesn't have much. Doesn't have AP power and have 1 HE power. So good, very good optic, they say. Interesting. So they have a good diversity of recon. Now let's go into vehicle. Now into a vehicle, they are interesting, but not amazing, let's say. BTR 50 Vigilant. What's interesting about that one is that it costs very little. It's very slow and not that great, but it has an AP power of 20. So, and 6 missiles. So this is a very defensive unit. It's also amphibious. Oh, and I guess if you really expect an offensive and you need an acceptable defense that will scare the enemy away, that's a fine thing to have these. The accuracy is a bit poor, but when it does hit something, it's deadly. Well, here you have the XA-180 PSTP Sejong. So that's a tow missile, 2.6 kilometer range, 60% accuracy, AP powers at 20, so that's also good, but costs twice as much as, well, nearly twice as much as the other one. And yeah, okay, next one. A TOW 2, 2.6, 70% accuracy, 25 AP power. So very good unit there. It's also amphibious. So they have vehicles which are amphibious here. Now here you have something, I don't know if that will remain at that price, but this is a Stug from World War II. We're getting into World War II territory there. I really doubt that this unit will be that good, but it's cool that they have it. And it's really inexpensive currently. I don't know if it will remain that way. And you can have how many of them? 24. So interesting. I guess if you have a lot of territory to cover, it's a fine unit to have. Now here, that's an interesting one. This has the Musty Anti-Tank, 16 AP power, 2 HE power. Oh, this is even amphibious. Interesting. And yeah, well, I really doubt that you'll put much of a fight with this, but you never know. They're a bit slow here. If they were faster, I will really like them. And here you have your vehicle with the Fagot M, 16 AP power, 40% accuracy, 2.4 kilometer range. Interesting, but not that great. So, term of vehicle, they're not that great. Now, Chopper HH10, you have tow, so mobility here, interesting. 25 AP power, that's really powerful. 70% accuracy, this is a really good chop. And you also have MIAT, so rockets, pretty standard. Same here, you have rockets, but here you have actually an autocannon, which is interesting. I don't think there's many MI8 that have that. You have 2 AP power, so that can be actually an interesting chopper to surprise light enemies. But against tank, I doubt it. Although here, I'm not sure if that's right, but 2,400 rate of fire, so yeah, it's a bit high. But as I say, nothing is final. I don't know if that's accurate. Although these pod, I think they have a good rate of fire. But I will have to Google that another time. Okay, Air Force. What is that? So this is an AVA 28 with 1,500 kilogram bomb. Very powerful stuff. You will kill a lot of things with this, and you have 2 of them, so that's really nice. Speed is a bit low, and you have no ECM, so this is a plane which can be really powerful, but it's very dangerous to use it. Here you have a CM170. What's interesting here is you have HEM and 20 AP power, bad accuracy. On the other hand, you have 5 of those planes, and actually they are pretty good. It's just that they're not amazing. Alright, so this is a Hawk 51. 2 500 kilogram bombs. I guess perfect to bombard a town or a forest with light vehicle in it. So G355S. Is that the, yeah, it seemed to be a Hess. So this is an air-to-air plane. Yeah, it is. But the accuracy is terrible here, so don't really rely much on this. And these planes turn very slowly, turn radius of 320. So this is like the kind of plane that you probably use as a last hope if you have a point to spare in a deck. But other than that, they are fairly standard, I will say. Here you have a G35F, and this is a napalm bomber. So useful if you like naval. While here you have rockets and some air-to-air missile, but this is still a pretty bad technology overall. And not sure I will use this. MiG-21 F-13. This is rockets. So a lot of rockets. I'm not even sure if they'll be able to fire all their rockets in one pass, which might mean that you will lose them. Not that thrilled about this one either. Here you have near-to-air focusing MiG-21 BIS, and I guess against chopper that can be good. Can be effective. Well, I guess here that's the interesting part of the Finland Air Force. You have a MiG-21 29 9.13, which have 2 Vimpel missiles, 60% accuracy. Pretty good air-to-air, although I will put more air-to-air missile on this if I was a developer. And exceptional air detection, 40% accuracy. It's very likely that they will add the missile to this. Seem a bit limited for the price, but normally that should be a good plane. So here you have an F-18C with 6 AMRAAM, so really good plane, 50% ECM, air detection, exceptional speed is very good, turn radius a bit wide, but overall really good air-to-air plane here. I don't think there's any F-18 with that much firepower, but I think that's an exceptionally good plane if you like air-to-air fight. So that's pretty much the tour of those troops. I ended up doing this deck here, which is testing a bit of everything, but I guess I could probably tune it a bit more in the future. But yeah, this was mostly for testing purpose. I use a bit of everything I was curious about, and so I'm not sure if I will recommend this, but so far I think what's interesting about Finland is, first of all, their F-18 air-to-air stuff. Their infantry is really good, so I guess perhaps that's their strength, and their support stuff seem also pretty good. Their tank are really strong, but you need to be careful with them. They also have a lot of recon units. But yeah, they're very cool, not that great. Choppers, okay, but not that great. Air Force is average, I will say. Nonetheless, I think it's an interesting faction because they have very different hardware. But yeah, my impression is that their strength is mostly infantry support and tank, perhaps, and recon. Yeah. Other than that, they seem a bit weak. Fun faction though. So I hope that introduced you well to that deck, and I hope to see you around soon.